Hello, this is Otis Collier, your personal branding coach. And in this session, I would like to talk to you about the power of endorsements. Now, LinkedIn allows you to have recommendations or endorsements on your profile. And endorsements are simply references that someone leaves about your work or your service. Now, as we look at my LinkedIn profile and we scroll down here to where it says recommended, you will see that 76 people have recommended me on LinkedIn. Now, I must admit that it is a bit abnormal to have that many recommendations on your LinkedIn profile. But I want to really share with you how that has helped me with my consulting business as it relates to other people booking me for speaking engagements. Recently, I was bidding on a deal or a contract to do a speaking engagement with a very large organization later this year. And as I was dealing with the president of the organization, they asked me to send my bio. And so what I did is I sent a one-page bio that I had, and you'll see it here on the screen. And what I really want you to pay attention to is I did something different with my bio. As I scroll down on my bio, I list at the bottom of my bio all of my professional clientele. So it says Mr. Collier's professional clientele list includes, and you'll see all of these different logos that I've listed on my bio. Now, I've done work with each individual company that you see here listed. The interesting thing is that I'm using their branding to make my brand even stronger. And I'll talk to you about that in a later video. That's a different video. But when I sent this bio to this organization, I got a unique call that came back. And the individual on the call called me back and said, hey, we've received your bio, but there's some questions about your bio. And I was a little confused at first, and the person proceeded to ask me if indeed I had worked with all of the companies that I had listed on my bio. And so at first I was like, wow, I would never list any company on my bio that I had not done work with. But immediately I took an advantage of my endorsements on LinkedIn. And so my immediate response back was, yes, I have worked with every company that you see listed on my bio. And if you would like to get any references from any company, you can probably find them out of the 76 endorsements that I have on my profile. And the companies that they were questioning in particular were Starbucks as well as Google. And I have both of those companies, and I have endorsements from individuals in my background or in my profile on my LinkedIn profile. So what I was able to do here on my profile, and I'm going to do a Control F here, and what this is going to allow me to do is this is going to allow me to find the keyword listed on my profile very quickly. So under Control F, you'll have this box here that says find. I'm going to type in the word Starbucks. And of course, I've got Starbucks listed as one of my clients, but let's go down. And now what you'll see is you will actually see the endorsement that I received February of 2005 from Scott Grover, who was an employee there at Starbucks. You'll also notice that right below that, I've got Wachovia Bank. Somewhere here I have Google as well. That was one of the other companies that came into question. And you will see that I've got 3 recommendations or endorsements from Google, from individuals who were working at Google. So those endorsements have helped me tremendously as it relates to my business. And when you've got 76 endorsements, 76 people who have endorsed your work, it makes it easier to get additional work as it relates to speaking engagements and consulting opportunities, because I've got 76 people who have already endorsed me. Now, let me share with you how I get endorsements and how I've gotten so many endorsements that is a little bit abnormal. The average person should have somewhere around 5 to 10 endorsements, but of course I've got 76 here. Every time I go out and I do a speaking engagement or a consulting opportunity, I will immediately contact those individuals and ask for an endorsement. So here's an example. Yesterday I was at Georgia State University presenting to a class at Georgia State, and I asked them to connect with me on LinkedIn. So here I'm going to go to my inbox and I'm going to find an individual, invitations, someone who wants to connect with me. So here's an individual who's a student at Georgia Tech, and she says, thanks for speaking to our class today. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to accept her invitation. Okay. Now that I've accepted her invitation, the next thing that I want to do is I want to view her profile. Okay. Now that I see her profile, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll her profile, look at her profile, and then what I'm going to do is make some recommendations on her profile and how to do some additional things on her profile. So I'm going to put the video on pause as I make these recommendations. Okay, now what I've done is I've accepted her invitation to connect on LinkedIn, and then I'm going to send her a message. And basically I'm thanking her for connecting with me on LinkedIn. And of course, I did a presentation yesterday in Professor Pleasant's classroom. And so I'm just reminding her, where she knows me from. And then I go on to give her some suggestions on how to improve her LinkedIn profile. The most important thing that you'll see is that at the bottom, I list my name, my title, my web address, and my phone number. So that lets her know that she can get in contact with me and reach me if she has any questions. I also use a PS. I will be sending an endorsement request. If you found value in yesterday's presentation, please leave a comment. And so what I have done there is I've given her a heads up that I will be sending her an endorsement request. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and send the message. Now that I've sent the message, the next thing I need to do is I need to send a endorsement request. So what I'm going to do is just copy her last name, because she has a very unique last name. I'm going to copy that last name, and then I'm going to go up under profile. You'll see a drop down box, and there is recommendations. I'm going to click on recommendations. Here under recommendations, I'm going to click on request recommendations. Under request recommendation, I'm going to choose consultant at Collier Management Services, because that's what I was when she saw me present. And then it says your connections. So I'm going to click this little N button here so that I can find her name. Now I have over 8,000 connections, so it takes a little bit of time for it to pull up. Her last name started with a B, so I'm going to click on a B over here to the left. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll down and look for her name. So there's her name. I'm going to put a checkbox beside her name, and then I'll click finish. Now I have this. I'm going to change the subject line, and then I'm actually going to change the email that I'm going to send her. So I asked her if she enjoyed yesterday's presentation, and then I'm going to change this out. Okay, now what I've done is I've created a message, and the message is basically, again, thanks her for connecting with me on LinkedIn. I've also said I hope that you found the presentation that I gave yesterday in Professor Pleasant's class extremely valuable. I would like to ask a favor from you. If you learned something new and helpful from my presentation, I would love it if you gave me a brief endorsement. Your recommendation would be extremely beneficial to me. Thanks in advance for helping me out, Otis Collier. Very, very simple. And then all I do next is I scroll down and I click the send button. So that is how I increased my LinkedIn endorsements, and it has worked extremely well for me. It's extremely valuable. My endorsements are growing each and every time that I go out and I do a presentation, or each time I work with a client. This is Otis Collier, your personal branding coach. I hope you've learned something from this session, and I will chat with you soon.